Demon Slayer can be a dark anime. Yes, it has a simple story that anyone can follow, but in reality, there are some moments in this series that really gives you the chills in terms of how dark such a light-hearted, simple story can get. And when looking back at the moments that I'm going to be speaking about, gets you realizing that in this world full of monstrous demons, the real monsters can be the humans, as I will mention later on. But however, these are my top 5 moments that absolutely broke the fanbase's hearts when watching this series. And we start off literally from episode 1, where we see Tanjiro's family all slaughtered. Tanjiro is the man of the house. He's the guy going into town and putting in the grind for his family to have food on the table. That is a huge responsibility that he takes on. And let's face it, he is happy to do so because he knows that's his duty as the oldest brother. He's such a cheerful, happy lad and has these touching scenes with his little siblings who clearly look up to him like a hero. So for him to return from the village and see them all covered in their own blood, all completely murdered, was gut-wrenching to see. Because we know that it was Muzan that did this. It's even more horrifying to even think that potentially the original and the strongest demon in the world turned up one day and attacked Tanjiro's family, who majority of them are little children who can't defend themselves. That's the most terrifying thing about it. And to think that this was only in a few hours, because remember, his younger siblings were asking Tanjiro if they can come with him. So if he let them come with him, they would have survived. That's what makes it even worse. Muzan didn't even eat them or drink their blood. He just killed them for sport. It was heartbreaking. But what a way to start the series off for newer audiences. Number 4, Rengoku's death. What more can I say about this guy's death scene? The guy died with a smile on his face. Him knowing that he was about to die gave the iconic "set your heart ablaze" speech, which as much as it was for Tanjiro, it felt like it was for us as well in the cinema. Rengoku knew he was outmatched by Akaza, but still wanted to show our main trio to never fear these all-powerful demons. He was the guy that woke these three up to take their training seriously and to never let any innocent civilians die when they are on the scene fighting any demons. I think it's because we grew to love his character by the end of the film, which is what made it more tragic because we will never see this awesome character again, who clearly is not just an inspiring figure for the main trio, but also his fellow Hashiras. As we see Tengen compare himself to Rengoku, saying how good of a Hashira he is by never letting innocent people die in episode 8 of season 2. Rengoku is a genuine good cheerful guy. He's like an older, more wiser and badass version of Tanjiro. So seeing him die so soon just kills us fans. I speak more about Rengoku in our Rengoku character video, so do go and check that out if you want a more in-depth analysis. Number 3, Shinjiro crying over his son's death. This scene, oh my god, this scene could easily be number 1. Hell, the top 3 could easily be interchangeable. They're so difficult to watch because these 3 moments will get you. I don't care if you're Brock Lesnar or if your heart is made of ice or whoever. These 3 moments will absolutely destroy you. Shinjiro became an alcoholic ever since his wife passed away, and as a result, he became distant and abusive towards his sons. However, that didn't stop his oldest son, Rengoku. And just as a quick side note, guys, I know Rengoku's first name is Kyojiro, but I'm going to continue calling him Rengoku. I'm just so used to it, guys, so forgive me for that. But going back to my point, that didn't stop Rengoku. He still kept going back and giving updates to his dad, even though his dad is telling him to get lost and that he doesn't give 2 shits about him. Every time Rengoku goes back to his dad for an update, he gets all sorts of abuse thrown at him by his dad. His dad was cruel to both him and his younger brother. But you can see Shinjiro is lost. He has been using alcohol to forget about the pain of losing his wife. So clearly there's a level of grief and trauma that he still can't get over. But when Tanjiro couldn't deliver Rengoku's final message to his dad, instead it was Senjuro who delivered it. And it simply said, "Dad, please take care of yourself." The tragic irony is that he never cared for his son ever since his wife died. But then his son now, with his final message, tells him to take care of himself. As he tried to drink, his sake ran out and he couldn't hide himself in alcohol anymore. The real Shinjiro came out as he broke down in tears saying his son's name. It's probably the most tragic thing any human being can go through. The death of family members, and not just any family members, his wife and eldest son. The music playing in the background just made this moment hit you even more. And in that moment, you went from hating Shinjiro to hoping that he does improve and takes care of not only himself, but of Senjuro as well. Number 2, Kanui's backstory. This backstory is just insane. This poor little girl wasn't even allowed to make any sound. If she did, she would get beaten. And I mean proper beaten. Her parents were so evil, they didn't even bother giving her a name and wanted to just sell her off. They couldn't be bothered giving her a name and they didn't feed her and just let her starve as they wanted to just sell her off. Mate, these types of people and characters don't ever deserve to have kids. And this is what I'm saying, that it's not just the demons who are monsters in this series. Clearly, we have some humans who are more evil than the demons without drinking a single drop of human blood. She didn't feel any pain as she got older because of the amount of abuse she took as a kid. So much so that she avoided making any noise to avoid punishment. And the tragic thing is, this carried on into her teen years, as she doesn't even allow herself to even think about the decisions she will make in day-to-day situations. She just lets a coin decide what she will do, as she feels she doesn't even deserve to have her own free will. Think about that, guys. She got so messed up as a kid because of her evil demonic parents that she genuinely feels she is not worthy to make her own decisions, even on a day-to-day basis. She is a mute in her teen years. And as she is growing older into becoming an adult, because of the psychological trauma of her past, being viciously abused by her parents, if she makes even a hint of noise, this is what makes it so tragic, is that not only does she have one of the most messed up pasts as a kid, but also had huge psychological effects as she's growing older as well. Thankfully, our boy Tanjiro is here to free her from the shackles of her past, and hopefully get to see her shine as a character even more. And finally, going on a similar theme with number 1, being the tragic backstory of Gyataro and Daki. This show can sometimes kill your mood for days if you see certain scenes. And for me, this backstory is just, I don't know what to say. Calling it tragic is underplaying it heavily. Daki was burnt alive, not killed, burnt, because she stood up for her brother and the fact that she was blessed with good looks. Out of pure hatred and jealousy, she was burnt alive. Gyataro was the most hated boy in the whole town. And yes, I said boy, because he was beaten. He wasn't allowed to have any food. Everyone in town made sure he feels worthless, not only by beating him, but with their words as well, to mentally hurt him and keep him down. They got ridiculed literally for their looks, and it's not their fault they were born this way, and because of it, they were sent to death by this bullshit town. That's why I don't blame them for giving in to the power of the demons. Life couldn't get any more shit for these two characters, especially Gyataro. His sister was the only person he had, and to see her being burnt alive, like how much more shit can life get? It literally can't get any worse than that. Seeing your own family member being burnt alive. At least with Kanui, she got saved by Kanae and Shinobu. Gyataro and Daki had nowhere to go but darkness and demons, which makes it even more tragic. They could have been saved if someone good came into their lives, but none did, which is why the demon showed up when he did. Demon Slayer may be a simple story with bright animation and color, but don't get it twisted. This series can get as dark as any other shonen series.